Meeting is being recorded.
All right, let's go ahead, Sarah.
I was asking about the template and mapping management. Do you want to merge it with the configuration, or just make it the configuration in two steps, one for the import and other identifications, and the other step will be for the template management?
I would say that we should keep it separate. I think what you're saying is that today we have metadata imports, externals, and configuration.
Yes.
Where do we do all the template and scripting management? I think it's better if we just have a template management section here, scripting management section, separate tabs.
Okay. Do you mean to merge the metadata imports and DSL in one step, as it's in one step, and the other step is the template management? Not the
No. The meta imports external is fine the way it is. I was just thinking that we should have another tab for template management
Okay.
and scripting management. That's it.
Do you want us to split them into two tabs or two steps? The template management and the mapping management?
I think template management includes mapping management and scripting management is separate. So the reason I say this is because 1 minute. Let me see. I'll show you the package. Okay, if you look at this current package, Tasca metadata we have, right? Definitions. If you look at definitions, this is the main file. It includes imports, it includes DSL, right? And then our topology template is our, designer mode, right? So all of that is taken care of. So what is missing? The missing part is templates and scripts. Okay? Scripts are just like what you have as imports of files. Right? But it's a separate folder. So because it's a separate folder, I want to treat it as a separate tab.
Yes.
Templates is also a separate folder, and because it's a separate folder, we can treat it as a separate tab. And then we have template and mapping management. One thing, is Ahmed around?
No, it's not available.
He's not around. Okay. So what I want to say is that later on, what we can even do is not include template and scripting management in here, but have it as a separate UI itself, so that we can just always bind it. So meaning like separate out the template management and scripting management to a separate UI completely.
So the user can access them from the configuration screens, but it will load to different design and layout.
Yeah. It's like a catalog of templates and scriptings. But right now, I think right now there's two approaches, right? There's one approach where we make template management completely, outside, but this requires like back-end development. It's more work that is required. So that's why I wanted to check with Ahmed if what he thought about this, and we can go either direction.
Actually, we discussed this, and he agreed, or he was flagging that it will be better to split it in like a different component, as an individual component, rather than including it in the package management.
I agree on that as well.
We can merge both, have them in just like the data dictionary, but it will be accessible also from the package configuration.
Right. I think that's what we ultimately want. The only issue is that I don't know if we have enough bandwidth to take on this part in Frankfurt release. Maybe the G release we can do that, but for Frankfurt release, we just go with, you know, including it as part of the package management.
I
That's
think it's mild for Abbas with the decision. The decision. He agreed for both options.
oh, he did? Okay. So, all right. So,
Yeah.
so let
Actually,
me
he was
just,
waiting for our decision, not to go for it for work as in a different scenario and then change it to a complete different other scenario.
okay. So what I want to, because what this template management applies, because the template management has the data dictionary itself, you know, meaning that the library, you know, because the whole reason we added the whole context of the library was so that we can do a mapping management, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we take this out, then this dictionary library instance may not be necessary in here anymore, right? It's part of the mapping management itself. You know what I'm trying to say?
So the mapping will be according to the library instance.
Yes,
Okay, so once he wanted to go for template and mapping management, he should select the library first, not
that's
from the
correct.
configuration.
That's correct.
Okay. I think we need to discuss.
Especially
Uh-huh.
for mapping management. This is mapping management 100%. Template management, you can add any templates, but mapping management, we need the library instance.
Okay, so once he load the template and just wanted to auto mapping, he should select the library.
That's right.
Okay. So for the template management, we I remember that we have some other screens before we go to the template management. That one when we define an instance and then go inside it to manage the template management and template mapping.
Right. So you add your template instance. It could be a VTL file or it could be Gingip file. Then you add the context of that template, and then you also provide auto mapping. That's one option.
No, I mean before this screen. Can we go to the blueprint control? You've made a YouTube video for this one. You recovered this from
Yes.
your website.
1 second.
Yes, the blueprint creation. Yes, the screen.
Okay, here.
Okay. Can we just move in the steps to split the screens to main screens and the other detailed screens? So here you are creating a servlet model. Then you are making an instance inside the model you've made.
Right, we're adding a template instance, correct.
Okay, so first, do you need
This is our
screen?
service package. Then we look for capability instance, which is a template instance. Okay, and then we
So first
the
you
instance
are
name.
looking for the instance type or the template and then add a template inside it.
Right, so we add the template so that we can add so it's like adding two instances of templates, renaming them to what we want, right? So, you know, base config and incremental config, for example.
So, okay, the default name will be for the template type. Okay.
That's correct. That's correct. And then we change the name to be something else.
Okay. Is that a must to include the template type or just any name?
You can include template type and let them change it. It doesn't really matter. As long as you allow them to change it. It's like you have this already done for component function, right? It's the same idea. So once they define that template instance, they can then add the context of that template instance. Okay, but in our UI, it's gonna be a little bit different. So then you load the config parameters.
Yes.
But once you load config parameters, in order to auto map to data dictionary, you need to know which library you're using.
Okay.
And then based on the library, you select the sources you want.
Before, I cannot auto mapping this data before I select the library. I should select the library first, then auto mapping.
That's right. It should be like a single step, select library, then which auto maps to that library instance.
Okay.
And then you select the sources you want, and that's it. And then they're adding a different capability, but all of this, we don't need to handle this part because this will be handled as part of enrichment. So we don't care. After template management and mapping management, we don't care anything about later on, because that portion of the section of the UI is here. When we go to your components, right, you have basically artifacts, and those artifacts could be template artifacts, or they could be mapping artifacts that you need to onboard. So when you click on this plus, you will be able to either go to a catalog that has all this mapping and templates already predefined, or we need to bind it to what we're doing in if we're adding it to this specific UI itself, right?
So if I didn't implement the management for the template in this step, I can make it too in the designer view.
You can. The binding is always happening. The binding of the component to artifact is always happening as part of the component functions, as part of the artifact templates. You'll be able to do the binding by clicking on this plus. Okay, so the binding is always part of the artifacts.
I mean, is that mandatory to implement the mapping before I can work on the designer?
In order for you to do the binding, yes, you need to have either the template and mappings or just mappings if you're using the component of resource resolution. Okay, for this component. Okay, if you're using a different component, let's say, because there are other components that require you scripts, right? Then I don't need template and mappings. The only thing I will need is a script itself, and that script could be a Kotlin script or it could be a Python script. So the user will first add the script, then go ahead and do the binding within that component. But it's all within the component itself. Either you're binding to an artifact, which is velocity, Jinja, or a mapping file, or you're binding to a script component, which could be Kotlin, Ansible Playbook, or Python script.
Okay.
Okay, and maybe I can show you quickly. Here's the scripting component. So if you look at all the components, there's one that's for Ansible. So let me show you. Hold on one second. There's a script executor. And this script executor, you can see it has script types, and the valid script types are Kotlin, Jinja, and internal. Okay, and then it has a way to reference those script types. Script class reference. So you'll be able to reference those script types, and this script class reference is actually defined within the package name itself. So let me show you another example. Let me see a Python executor. Python executor has also something similar. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. Python executor. Let me take a quick look. 1 second. Okay, here we go. So we talked about capability Python. So in here, if you look Python, if you look at scripts, there's Python scripts, and here are the different scripts. So how do we access those scripts? That's in definition. Okay, here we go. So here you see they're referencing the script that will be used for execution. Yeah, right here. So as part of this component, in this case is Jython, they have artifacts, and that artifact is a script type that we're using to connect to. Does this make sense, Sarah?
Okay, yes.
So I guess the question for us, I think what we want to do. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get Sebastian as well.
Okay.
I want to ask him because this will. Okay, he's joining. Hey, Sebastian. Sebastian. Hey, Sebastian. Very good. Thanks for joining. We have Sarah as well. We're kind of designing the new UI. We're talking about scripts, templates, and mapping files. Okay.
Okay.
So if you look today, right, we have our scripts. We add our scripts. They're Kotlin scripts, and here they are, right? Or our templates, and templates include template and mappings, and templates could be Velocity or Jinja-based templates, or it could be with mapping files, right? Or it could be just mapping files by themselves. So in our new UI, so the question kind of came about, should we separate the template management and scripting management outside the package creation itself? Meaning that would we have a catalog of all scripts stored somewhere, for example, and then as part of the package creation, all we're gonna do is go to our components, and then within our component definition, what we want to do is bind those scripting instances as part of the component definition itself. So you can see this is component definition, right? And we have artifacts.
Kind of like data dictionary, right?
Sort of like data dictionary. So in here, so what we're trying to say is that the scripting and template management, should it be outside of the package creation and just be its, like data dictionary by its standalone?
I'm not sure. From the feeling I have right now and the way people use it internally is all the scripts are very specific to the package, right? So if we add, another layer of difference between the package and then you have another repository which stores all the script, I'm not too sure. I think it's a good idea. I can understand for data dictionary because there's often times where you may want to get stuff and everyone will use the same, but for scripts, since scripts are very related to the package and doesn't make sense outside of the package, then does it make sense to have a different repository? That's the question I would ask.
Okay, so very good.
Is that a technical? Difficulty or it's more architecture?
No, nothing technical. It's more about what is the right approach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that will be my stance. Yeah. I feel like it belongs to the package, the script.
So what you're saying that it's for scripts, it's better that it's part of the package itself.
Yes.
We do the scripting management as part of the package creation. Okay.
Yes, because at least right now, the way everyone uses it, the script doesn't have any meaning outside of a specific package. Okay. It's very, very business logic specific, and yeah, I don't think it belongs outside.
Okay, so what we're saying is most likely you might have some reusable scripts that you can add to a library, but most cases, all your scripts are going to be, unique for that package.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So then, I guess scripts that answers that question. What about template and mappings? Template and mappings are also very specific to a package. Do you see reuse in template and mappings?
Not really. The data dictionary, yes, like the service instance and stuff like that, we reuse all the time. But other than that, it's really specific to
the package itself. What you're saying. Okay, yeah. So I guess based on what you're saying is then the scripting and template and management, all of that should be part of the package creation itself.
Yes. Yes, I think it makes sense in that. For that, yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Sebastian. Sorry, any questions for Sebastian?
Okay, no, that's fine. Now I see the picture where the package have its own implementation of the template management and mapping.
Exactly. It's really all of the mapping, the file, the script, even the environments and everything. This is all related to one specific package.
Mm-hmm.
At least for now, that's how I think that's how we can use it, and how CDS is. So, oh yeah, okay.
Okay. So Sarah, based on that, then I think what we can do is add scripting management section tab and template management section tab here.
Do you mean two different tabs or just one tab for both?
I would say two different tabs, because one tab will be like import section,
And the other for auto mapping?
the other tab is more like first you want to add which, maybe we can do something like we have here.
I see there is no dependency on the template management for the auto mapping. So whether we have them both in one tab or two different tabs, there is no impact for the auto map or dependency.
Well, the auto map is tied to the template itself, right? For most cases.
I mean template management, not the template, the package and the mode itself.
So what you're proposing is having one additional tab that has all this information?
No, I mean you are planning to split them in two tabs.
Yes.
Okay. So I agree with that. I don't see any relationship between them or dependency.
Right. That's correct. That's correct. So two tabs.
So we'll have
What I can
five tabs.
Say it again?
So we'll have 5 tabs: metadata, imports, DSL, template management, and template and mapping management.
That's right. Well, mapping management we don't need, because mapping should be part of template. So
Okay, that's what I'm asking for. If we have no dependency for the auto map, I think we can we have the options both.
So if you look, I have a template folder and it has a pair of templates and mappings, right? Or it can just have mappings.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is you have one tab called templates. In that tab, you allow the user to add or import templates and mappings, or
Okay.
edit templates, or manage templates, or manage mappings.
Inside this one tab?
Inside one tab, right? One tab is equaling to one folder.
Okay, we discussed that it can be in different view. So we have the availability of a wide screen that contains both.
Okay.
Or shall we keep it in the same style as this tab? The current tabs we have.
Which style?
This one, the tiled one.
Like this?
I mean, we have, yeah.
And so you'll have on the left hand.
I mean, I don't see that we have to move to different layout as we discussed before.
Yeah, can you?
We were discussing. We were discussing to just adding the template and mapping management tab, and that will load us to a different layout.
No, the layout can be consistent of what you have. I don't think we need to change the layout. The main thing that we need to do is allow the users to add or templates and mappings. That's one thing, right? Or allow them to create templates and mappings. To me, it's like allow those two capabilities. If they add a template, right, the VTL file, then we need to make sure that we can also support a mapping, meaning that we need to be able to ingest this template that they want to create a mapping for, and then do a mapping. So, and display the graphical view of mapping based on what we discussed. Is it here that I have it?
I think we'll postpone the graphical view of the mapping.
Right. I don't care about the graphical view. I just care about the tabular. The tabular view. I guess I have it here as well. Right here. This part we need. The graphical we can do later. This whole section. The question is, are you gonna do this as part of template mappings, as part of templates, or are you gonna do this as part of imports? There's two ways to do this, okay? What I'm thinking that there's one way you can. So here's one option, okay? Today what we do is we create a template, right? So this is template instance. Okay, this template instance will either be a VTL file or a Jinja file. Agreed?
Yes.
Maybe before that, there's some button that will say like import, or create. So if they say create, then we give them the context they can create.
The editor. The editor.
Right. And then once they do this, the question becomes, do we want to add as part of this tabular form? Or do we do something different where
to import the mapping file?
There's something like called create or manage mappings. So this is
below the template instance, as it's a different step.
No, it's a different thing. So this one is for templates. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Papa, can I say because
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So the first step is there's an option for template import or create. They create the template independently. Okay.
Yes.
That's one option, right? Once they create the template, there's an import or create mappings, right? So if they create a mapping, what they're doing is basically, as part of this step, they're gonna say, what is the template reference that needs to be imported so that we can load all the
This is the library?
files.
This is for the library.
So we can select, before the library step, first you have to say, load all the context that I need, right? So load all the parameters.
Okay.
Right? So load all the parameters for VTL or Jinja because they're different, right? So what you're referencing here is an instance of a template instance itself. Right? So in here, let's say you created template instance, ABC123. When you go to create mappings, you can say there will be a list of template instances. And what you're saying is that I want ABC123 instance, so I can create this mapping file. When you load that information, it will create this tabular form with all the attributes, right? And then what we can say is that, so this is load params. So it's going to load all the information. And then what we can say is select your library instance. Oh, actually, we already have the library instance, so we don't care, right? Because it's part of the other thing. So all we need to do is do auto mapping. So that auto mapping will load to the data dictionary, and then it'll create this tabular form itself. So it's a separation.
We already have the tabular file of tabular form, but it will contain the other data.
It will so
the
what
dictionary.
I'm trying to. In here, right? We just have the template context, right? There's nothing about what this template context is. It's a separate. It's a two-step process, right? So here, which is you loading a template instance. That's one option. The other option is to load a list of attributes. Okay, because we support these two use cases where manage mapping files with templates or without templates, we need to be able to attributes from a template instance or get it from a comma delimited list. Does that, do you follow Sarah on this point? So we can go either with this approach or with inside the template, we can add a mapping file, a tabular form like we did in the prototype. But this approach is limited because if we have a use case where we need to manage. Yeah, go ahead, Sarah. Yes, Sarah. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Sorry, Yuri, it's the connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Can you repeat the last
Sarah,
part?
did you hear what
I missed it? Yes, I wasn't there.
Okay, so the main.
Yeah.
So the main point is like in this one approach is basically a separation of template and mappings, where this approach you just create the templates without the mappings.
Okay.
Right, you create your context.
So the user will have three options. One only to create the template instance.
Yes.
Okay, and the other one or the other option, he can create the template instance and then auto mapping.
Yes, but then in this option, we need to also support the use case where you just have a mapping. So how do you need to provide the capability just for the mapping?
Okay.
So this
the user can auto mapping or just import the mapping file.
You import a list of attributes. So the use case here, the use cases we have, right? Mm-hmm. Import templates and mappings.
Okay.
Mappings only. Okay, and this is by comma delimited list.
So we have the option where we just mapping without the template management.
Absolutely.
Okay, I see them as 4 options, not only 3.
Yes, 4 them. So what I'm trying to say, if because we have so many options, maybe we just separate the process. One where you create the template instance.
Okay.
And then after you create it, you can also support a mapping creation. And that mapping creation can be based on the context of the template instance.
Okay.
or the context of attribute list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so does that make sense?
Okay.
So this is what I think if we go this approach, that separation, it will be probably better.
Okay. So let me list them again. We have one to create the template instance. This is one, and the other one is to create the template instance and then load the parameters and then auto mapping. This is the second option. The third one, we can only manage the mapping, and the other one we can upload them both, the template management file and the mapping file.
Yes,
Just
we need to
uploading
also
them.
import. So the import, when we do import mapping or import templates, that needs to be supported. Absolutely. So what you said is absolutely right. All of those are use cases. How do we manage to support all those use cases? I think the best way probably to do it is to manage templates separately and to manage mapping files separately. This way we can import or create, manage, edit templates and mapping separately itself. But we need to make it simple to the user so that when he comes to mapping files, when he creates an instance, he can take the context from template instance or load the context of parameters.
Yes.
That's what if we do it this way, I think it'll be easier. Adding the tabular form as part of template instance won't work because we have so many different other use cases. That's what I'm thinking. You know, I'll let you decide what you think is the best option. Okay, so any other questions, Sarah?
It's okay. Okay. Nothing.
So that means that if we go here, we have one. So the question becomes, do we have one template screen where templates and mappings are managed?
Okay.
I should say one template tab where templates and mappings are managed, and then another tab for scripting where we just manage scripting, importing of scripting files.
I need to discuss the scripting as I think I'm losing the idea of creating the scripting.
Okay. Let me know. Do you have questions for me, or you want to discuss it with them?
No, for you. Just to review it again.
Okay. You want to do it now?
Will it take long?
It will take 5 minutes.
Okay. 5 minutes, if that's okay with you.
1 second. So the whole idea of scripting. So scripts, if you can see, is in our package we have scripts, right?
Okay.
So what do we have in scripts? Scripts can have Kotlin scripts or Python scripts, and these are just, you know.
Sorry, can you send me this link as long as I don't have that type of files? That's why I couldn't understand the script so far.
Okay. As well. And just look how different scripts are and how different templates are. Just and here you see there's only VTL file, but think VTL and mapping JSON files. It could be Jinja-based files as well. So there are different combinations that can be supported. Good. Let's see if this one does. Yeah. So I'll share these other two links as well. Okay, that's all I had. Does that clarify a little bit?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Does that clarify, Sarah?
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Papa, Papi.
Hello?
Hey, Sarah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Now, yeah. Now I can hear.
That's all I had for scripts. It's just the basic idea of loading file scripts, which could be Kotlin, or it could be Python, or it could be even Ansible. So remote.
So the script tab will include is to import files, only files.
Only files, that's it. It's
Okay,
like the
the
imports.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like the imports. That's it. But those won't be just like JSON files. It could be YAML, it could be
But we still have the
Kotlin.
import the tab.
It's just imports. That's all it is.
So the script is will appear only if the user select the scripting mode, or it's all.
No. It's always appearing, always, regardless. Scripting mode is just a mode that you can create your package with. And that package can include template scripts, plans, definition, everything. It's just a different mode of operating.
So the script tab will be the same as the import tab, but with different type
That's
of
correct.
files.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
So script is very easy. The template management and mapping management is the hard portion to design because I think it requires the two-step process.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Sarah?
No, thank you, Yuri. Thank you for clarification.
Go ahead. Oh, Sebastian, I see you're still here. Thank you very much for joining. Sebastian, did you have any comments for us?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Sarah. I'll talk to you guys later. Sarah, I'll send out the recording as soon as possible, okay?
Yes, please.
Bye.
Thank you, Yuri. Bye.